Hello friends, welcome to TNPC audiobook book series. Attitude is Everything by Jeff Keller. Part 1, Success Begins in the Mind. Lesson 4, Make a commitment and you will move mountains. I used to think I knew what commitment and persistence means. Trying hard, making a lot of attempts, however, I didn't grasp the true meaning of this concept until I read a small paperback book entitled The Ultimate Secret to Getting Absolute Everything You Want by Mike Hernick. Commitment is the essence of the ultimate secret. According to the author, the key to getting what you want is the willingness to do whatever it takes to accomplish your objective. Now, before your mind jumps to conclusion, let me add that in saying whatever it takes, I exclude all action which are illegal, unethical, or which harms other people. So, exactly what do I mean by this willingness? It's a mental attitude that says, if it takes 5 steps to reach my goal, I will take those 5 steps. If it takes 55 steps to reach my goal, I will take those 55 steps. If it takes 155 steps to reach my goal, I will take those 155 steps. Of course, at the outset, you usually won't know exactly how many steps will be required to reach your goal. This doesn't matter. To succeed, all that's necessary is that you make a commitment to do whatever it takes, regardless of the number of steps involved. Where does persistence fit in? Persistence action follows commitment. That is, you first must be committed to something before you will persist to achieve it. Once you have made a commitment to achieve your goal, then you will follow through with relentless determination and action until you attain the desired result. When you make a commitment and are willing to do whatever it takes, you begin to attract the people and circumstances necessary to accomplish your goal. For instance, once you devote yourself to becoming, say, a best-selling author, you might suddenly bump into a library agent or discover a television program offering advice on this very topic. It's not as if these resources never existed before, it's just that your mind never focused on finding them. Once you commit yourself to something, you create a mental picture of what it would be like to achieve it. Then your mind immediately goes to work like a magnet, attracting events and circumstances that will help bring your picture into reality. It's important to realize, however, that this is not an overnight process. You must be active and seize the opportunity as they appear. The magic which flows from commitment has never been more eloquently or more accurately described than in the following words by W.H. Murray. Until one is committed, there is hesitance. The chance to draw back always ineffectiveness. Concerning all act of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. That the moment one definitely commit oneself, then providence moves too. All sort of things occur to help one that would otherwise never have occurred. A whole stream of events issued from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which no man would have dreamed would have come this way. Here's another miraculous feature of the power of commitment. You don't have to know at the outset how to achieve your goal. Sure, you will be better off if you have a plan to attack, but it's not essential that every step to be mapped out in advance. In fact, when you have the willingness to do whatever it takes, the right steps are often suddenly revealed to you. You will meet people you never would have planned to meet. Doors will unexpectedly open for you. It might seem like luck or good fortune is smiling on you. In truth, you will have created these positive events by making a commitment and thus instructing your mind to look for them. Here is an example of how a door unexpectedly opened for me. In 1989, I started writing motivational articles. I would learn about the power of a positive attitude and the other success principle, and I was committed to sharing this information with others who could benefit from it. But I had no idea where to start. Do I send my articles to newspapers, submit them to magazines, write my own books? The first thing I did was submit an article to a local newsletter for people involving in training and human resources. That article was printed in the summer of 1990. A few months later, I got a phone call from a gentleman named Stuart Kamen. a freelance writer who also worked with business to produce newsletter. Stewart said he would seen my article while visiting the house of his best friend and was very inspired with it. Then he asked me, "Have you ever thought of writing a newsletter?" Quite frankly, I hadn't thought of doing my own newsletter. We arranged a meeting and Stuart explained how we could work together to produce a newsletter that would make this self-development concept available to thousands of people. About 1 month later, the first issue of Attitude is Everything newsletter was published. I published the newsletter for nearly 20 years and reached hundreds of thousands of people with this life-changing information. How did it all happen? I was committed to sharing this principle with others. I had a positive attitude. I started writing, and then Stuart Kamen, a complete stranger, entered my life. Someone who knew just how to turn my dream into reality. The magic of commitment. Before you get too excited about waxing easily towards your goal, I caution you. Even with a commitment, everything won't be rosy on your path. Life will test you to see how serious you are about achieving your objective. Obstacles will arise. You will make mistakes and suffer disappointments and setbacks, some of which may be quite severe and even tempt you to abandon your goal. That's when it becomes important to follow the sage wisdoms of Winston Churchill, who said, "Never, never, never give up," or the advice provided by James J. Corbett. You become a champion by fighting one more round. When things are tough, you fight one more round. If you have made a commitment to accomplish your goal, you can overcome temporary defeat and you will triumph. Several years ago, American Way magazine carried a fascinating interview with best-selling novelist David Baldacci. Baldacci is the author of the immensely successful novel Absolute Power, Total Control and the Winner. Millions of copies of his book have been sold. Let me assure you, however, that Baldacci was no overnight success. His accomplishment and financial achievement were the result of his total commitment to developing his talent as a writer. Like me, Baldacci started out as a lawyer. He started law school in 1983 and didn't give any thought to becoming a best-selling novelist. He simply enjoyed writing. Yet, at the outset, Baldacci knew that he didn't have the necessary writing skill. So he made a commitment, as he put in, to learn the craft of writing. For the first 5 years, he didn't finish any of his projects. Every day, he just worked on characters, plot development and other writing basics. At the time, he was a practicing lawyer and he and his wife had 2 young children. When did he find the time to do this writing? Baldacci worked on his writing every night from 10 p.m. until 2 a.m. Now, that's a commitment to do whatever it takes. He pointed out, however, that he had fun writing. It wasn't a chore. By the way, I am not suggesting that you stay up all night to pursue a goal. That 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. shift certainly wouldn't work for me, and it may not work for you either. After 10 years of writing, Baldacci has completed some short stories and a few screenplays. His total sales, 0, and that all that he had to show for his effort were a lot of rejection from editors. In 1996, all of Baldacci's effort paid off big time. He received millions of dollars for the literary and movie right to his blockbuster thriller Absolute Power. The star of the movie was Clint Eastwood. Such is the power of a person who is committed. I have learned a lot about the magic of commitment from my good friend Jerry Gladstone. In 1986, Jerry started his own company, American Royal Arts, selling a variety of collectibles. 1 year later, he decided to concentrate on selling animation art. He secured licenses with Warner Brothers, Hanna-Barbera, and other smaller studios. But he realized that to really grow his business, he needed to sell Disney art. For 3 years, he wrote letters and called Disney headquarters requesting permission to sell Disney art. Each time, he got the same answer from Disney: no. That didn't stop Jerry. He kept contacting Disney executive. One executive finally had just about all she could take of Jerry. So she told him in a voice and tone reminiscent of Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty, the evil queen from Snow White, and Cruella Devil from 101 Dalmatian all roll into one. You will never get a Disney license. Time to give up, right? Not Jerry. Through all this rejection, he kept a great attitude. He called more executives at Disney, and then one gentleman at Disney, hoping to get rid of Jerry once and for all, said, "Well, the only two places we would consider allowing a gallery offering Disney artwork to open would be either Minnesota or Massachusetts." Jerry's business was in New York, and he had no desire to open a gallery in a remote location. Guess what Jerry did? He flew to Boston the very next day, and by the end of the day, he had signed a lease for a place on Newbury Street in Boston. He called the Disney executive to report that he had the Massachusetts location. They both had a good laugh. And then the executive said to Jerry, "If you had the courage to go up to Boston the next day and open a place just like that, we have to put you on the Disney program." Within a few weeks, Jerry opened the Boston Gallery featuring the Disney line. Within a year, he was given permission to market the Disney line through his New York store. Jerry had now done business with Disney for decades. He had sold millions of dollars of Disney art and is the largest volume Disney animated art dealer in the world. Talk about commitment. Talk about keeping a good attitude in the face of rejection. Jerry was going to get the Disney license no matter what it took. Just ask Jerry and he will tell you in a New York minutes that attitude is everything. I would like to share you the story of Benjamin Roll, who lived in Newport Beach, California. In 1990, at the age of 67, Roll graduated from law school. Naturally, before he could start practicing law, he had to pass the Californian bar examination. On his first attempt at the examination, he failed. On his second attempt, he failed. And he failed the third time, the fourth time, the fifth, the sixth time, and the seventh time, the eighth time, the ninth time, the 10th time, the 11th time, the 12th time, and the 13th time. Let me add one important fact. The bar examination is given only twice each year. So, at the time of his 13th failed attempt, Roll was now 73 years old. Most people would have quit, but no, not Benjamin Roll. He took the exam for the 14th time and he passed. In 1997, at the age of 74, Roll was admitted to practice law in the state of California. Now, here is a guy who's committed and willing to do whatever it takes. As Roll explained, "I was going to pass that cotton picking exam if I lived long enough, and I did." Does this story tell you anything about the importance of attitude? Most people wouldn't even consider starting law school in their 60s, yet here is someone who not only enrolled in law school but was willing to spend 6 years after graduation studying to pass the bar exam. Wow, Benjamin Roll's story is simply further proof that attitude is everything. Now, let's assume you have a goal in mind. The next question to ask yourself is, am I willing to do whatever it takes to achieve this goal? If your answer is, I will do just about everything except that I won't do something, then frankly, you're not committed. And if you're not committed, it's likely that you will be derailed and not achieve your objective. For instance, many people start a new business with this approach. I will give it 6 months to prosper. If things don't work out after 6 months, I will quit. This is not a mental attitude that leads to success. Where would novelist David Baldacci be if he had, "I will try the writing for 1 year, and if I can't sell anything, I will give it up"? He would have missed out on the opportunity to do what he loves, have financially independent and live his dream. Now, I am not suggesting that you just bull ahead without a plan and hope for the best. Of course, you should set timetables, deadlines, and budgets so you stay on course and succeed as quickly as possible. But the reality is, despite your most careful plans, you don't know how long it will take to achieve your goal, and you can't foresee all the obstacles that will cross your path. That's where commitment separates the winners from the losers. The committed people are going to hang in and prevail no matter what. And if it takes a little longer than they thought, so be it. Those who aren't committed are going to give up the ship when things don't go their way. Now that you have learned about the power of commitments, it's time to apply the principle. So go ahead, select a goal you have a burning desire to achieve, make a commitment to do whatever it takes to achieve this goal. Start moving forward and get ready to notice and take advantage of all opportunities that come your way. Then follow through with persistent action and get ready to succeed. Thank you friends for listening to TNPC audiobook. Please do support and subscribe our channel for more audiobooks. Also don't forget to press the bell button.